Winter has set in, but it's been several weeks, and pollution, smog, toxic air areas. There's, of course, northern part of the country. Now, stubble burning. Farmers, they always get blamed for the toxic air that we're breathing. Year after year, we see the same situation. Politicians, they play blame game. There's political bickering over what the solution of crop burning could really be. But at the end of the day, it's nothing. It's just toxic air, and it's your lungs and our lungs that are actually getting impacted. Joining me is Maninder Singh. He's the General Secretary of Renewable Gas Association of India. What I want to ask him is, Maninder, can renewable gas be a solution to crop burning?
Yeah, hi, very good afternoon to you, Ranjan. Renewable gas, perhaps, is the only solution to crop burning as of now. I would like to tell you that as a nation, today we are importing more than 1 lakh crores rupees worth of gas in the country, whereas we are, by our natural resources, blessed as a nation to have enough organic waste or residue from our farms, from agro-industrial industries, from our kitchens, to be able to produce biogas, which can further be purified to Bio-CNG, and all the vehicles in the country which are currently on diesel and petrol can actually run on this Bio-CNG, which is homegrown, which we don't have to buy from any other country.
All right. Also, I'm just going to refer to a statistic here. A report by CSE says that air pollution is responsible for 12.5% of all deaths in India. Let that number sink in. 12.5% of all deaths in India happen because of air pollution. Now, this particular season, where we see toxic air really engulfs the city, the visibility also goes down to zero. But year after year, like I was mentioning, there is no solution which politicians come up with. Now, if there is a solution, like Maninder just mentioned, renewable gas, why hasn't India been able to do anything in that sector so far? Maninder, if you could answer that question for our viewers.
Yeah, so I'll break this question into two parts. One is that, see, we often blame farmers for all this problem and then not try and see at other aspects of it. The farmers have been burning stubble since hundreds of years. But if you think, this problem has visibly taken much shape in last 1 decade or so. And if you see the statistics of last 3 years, the stubble burning has decreased by 25 to 30%, whereas the air quality of capital, Delhi, is actually depleting every year. So what are the various factors? The various factors are what we are doing in the cities, why we are not able to control the diesel and petrol burning, why we are not able to control the tandoors of the city, why we are not able to control the diesel gensets and construction waste, debris. There are so many other factors that combine and form this problem. So we should work on a holistic solution and try and address this problem at various ends, rather than just blaming the farmers and trying to get away with it. Our country has actually got into very good work, which was done by our former oil and gas minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan, when he came out with a policy of Satat, where 5,000 CNG plants were planned to be set up in the country by 2023. But can you imagine that it's less than 50 right now, and we are almost in 2022. So we are not even close to 1% of the target. So we need to introspect why this policy did not find the grass that it should have, why all these plants are not coming up across the country, and why this problem is not being addressed and taken seriously by various ministries.
Yes, in fact, farmers are left with no other option but to burn their farm residue, and this is something that causes a lot of air pollution. We all know that. We all also know that as far as farmers are concerned, they have limited income, and till now, whatever little solutions we've had by the government, they've been extremely expensive for the farmers to afford. Now, when we talk about renewable energy, just for our viewers, Maninder, if you could simplify it, what is renewable energy and how can farmers benefit from it?
See, you have to understand that when we have an agro residue, to which we today call agro waste, it can come from your kitchen, the food waste. It can come from your farms like paddy straw and cotton straw and various other such residues. It can come from agro-industrial waste like sugar mills. There is bagasse and press mud coming out and various other things. Even the material which is in the drains, which is the sludge,
Yeah.
it also has gas production potential. So when all these materials are processed properly, digested properly, they produce biogas. And this biogas itself is a fuel for power generation. This biogas can be purified to convert into CNG, which is used to run your cars. And not only that, this biogas, when produced and utilized, it leaves a solid and a liquid residue, which is a direct replacement to chemical fertilizers. And it can actually add a lot of value to even improving the health in the country. I'll give you a small example. In a country like Germany, all the paddy straw, all the maize waste that comes out from the maize fields, they have it in a lot. They, have developed a bacteria which is called Delphicia. This bacteria is a biostimulant which is used in agriculture largely. But the situation in our country is that we don't have a rule, a law under agriculture norms where this bacteria can be actually defined as a biostimulant. So we need to bring all these things up. We need to incorporate them in the policies, and we need to make sure that all the stubble, what we call, all the agro waste, what we call, all these things are utilized properly for benefit of the country, to create power, to create CNG, to create better health for the plants, crops, and vegetations.
Better policies, as you mentioned, and I think more will from the government and from the policymakers is something which is really needed, because at the end of the day, around October, November, December is when the Supreme Court will talk about what's happening in the city, why we are choking. There'll be all the talk around it, but as we enter, say, a January or February, the talk around it somehow disappears. And again, we come back to the same cycle. But if I can ask you, Maninder, up till now, why hasn't India been able to achieve anything in the bioenergy sector? Because what you're saying is fairly simple. It is on the lines of waste management. So why haven't we been able to come up with a solution, at least, in the last several years when we've been crying about solutions?
See, waste management and renewable gas go hand in hand. This is a beautiful subject which, if worked properly, see, what we need is integration of ministries like Ministry of Oil and Gas, Ministry of Urban Development, Ministry of Rural Development, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and Ministry of Finance to come together and work out. Solution is already there. It is proven. We already have around 25-30 plants in the country coming up. How to scale it? The problem is that India has potential of more than 100,000 plants, but only 25-30 are coming up. There are several problems of why. Now, this needs to be addressed when all this ministry coordination happens, and together we come to various conclusive solutions. Also, please understand one thing, that when we talk about waste, apart from stubble, let's not forget the household waste that is generated and the mountains of waste that are created in all cities. If you look at Delhi, it's surrounded by mountains of waste today. If you look at Bombay, if you look at Bangalore, any big city, any metro city in India is surrounded by waste mountains. What is happening to get rid of these mountains? In fact, the mountains are gaining height every year. Stubble burning is still decreasing, but the poor quality of air is increasing day by day. The air quality is depleting. We need to work and really, work towards execution. The solution is already there.
So the solution is already there, but we need execution, is what you're saying, Maninder. As far as the farmers are concerned, have you all reached out to them? I was speaking to you earlier, Maninder, and you spoke about putting up a plant in Western Uttar Pradesh in Muzaffarnagar.
Yeah, that's something that we are doing. We are setting up a plant in Muzaffarnagar, and we have been involved in this initiative as one of the developers to develop multiple such plants in the country and get the final solution. That country was longing in since last 20 years, but yeah, way things have moved in last 3-4 years. It will still take a lot of work which needs to be done, and a lot of government intervention is still needed. In fact, I would like to tell you one fact that to when we set up these plants, there was an element of subsidy which was given by Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, which came as an incentive to anybody working in this difficult sector. But
Yeah.
lastly, this subsidy was paused, it was halted, it was removed, and we still have no clue whether it is going to be there or no. Now, at one side, we have some lakh tons of organic waste, which is creating methane and which is creating this air problem across the country. On the other side, we have the solution to this, which is proven. On the third side, we need the government support, which is still not there to the level it should be. And that is what we are working for as Renewable Gas Association of India, where all the stakeholders who have actually worked in this field in last 10-15 years have come together to make sure that we are able to address this problem and try to give solution to all the states and center also.
The hope really is, Maninder, that you get all the support that you deserve and this problem can be solved at the earliest. In fact, like you mentioned, that we as responsible citizens also cannot just be dependent on our governments and our authorities because they can only do so much. Let's at least start from our homes. Waste segregation, very important. Not a lot of us do that. Trying to not use plastic rather is something which is very, very important. Thank you so much, Maninder Singh, for speaking to us and to all our viewers for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.